Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Kirsty and this is Stuck in the Mud. Thank you all for joining me today. I know how hard it is to recover from OCD and anxiety as a sufferer myself for 40 years. But I am here to tell you today that it is possible, and I commend you for being here and taking those steps on your road to recovery from this disorder. As always, please remember to like my videos if you're finding them helpful and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. In today's video, I wanted to talk about letting go of our intrusive thoughts, which is a really hard thing to do when you're starting out on your healing journey with OCD and anxiety, because we develop so many beliefs around these intrusive thoughts, and we put so much energy and time that we create attachments to these thoughts. We start to believe in these intrusive thoughts because we think, well, we're thinking this, so this must be true, because why else would I keep having this on repeat in my head all the time? Why am I thinking this constantly? And over time, we have such an attachment because we've put so much energy into it. We've given it so much power that it spirals and it just becomes so intense that it takes over our life, and we become so obsessed and we just believe in it. We believe that this to be a true reflection of who we are because we're thinking it. But we shouldn't believe everything we think, because OCD lies. OCD is going to go after your worst feared things in life. It's going to go after what you value the most. And that's what it's going to try and do to control you. That's why it's so difficult, because we think these things and we have these obsessions and we put so much into it. We don't even realize how much that we actually put into all of this. It takes work to actually keep all of this going, and we don't always realize we're doing it. I get it. You know, I'm not trying to suggest any of this is your fault. It's a completely devastating disorder. As someone who's gone through this, it's not a walk in the park. It's life-changing. It takes over your whole life, and it's not a good place to be. And it wasn't really until I hit rock bottom that I realized I don't want to live this way anymore. You know, this is just excruciating. Every day is just pain and suffering, and I don't want to live that way anymore. And I knew then I had to do something about this, because 40 years is a long time to go through dealing with this day in, day out. And it became just part of me. It was just my identity. It became who I was. OCD is just the way my life was run. You know, it controlled me. And I just didn't know any other way to be. It became second nature. But I wasn't happy. Every day it was pain, because it can take you to some really debilitating places, this disorder, and impacts your family and your relationships. It's not good, and it takes so much away from our life. We don't deserve to live that way. No one deserves to live that way. You know, we shouldn't feel so much suffering on a daily basis, but we do. And that rock bottom place I got to was the point for me where I thought, no more, I can't carry on like this. I really had to put the work in that I needed to do to get better and recover. And like I said, over time, we develop beliefs. We believe that what we're doing in response to these intrusive thoughts, whether that is rumination, we carry out a ritual, whether that's physical or mental, because rumination is actually a ritual in itself. We get so taken in by our intrusive thoughts that we follow them, and we go down that spiral, we go down the rabbit hole of OCD, and we just pull it apart. We try and analyze it and work it out. That is actually a ritual in itself, although we don't always realize it, that we're doing it. So I had to be honest with myself that this is going to take work. It's going to take hard work, but it's valuable work. It's valuable because it's going to give your life back from OCD and anxiety. We don't want to live this way forever. We don't want to live so controlled. It's making our world a lot smaller, and we are living a limited life because of it. But I realized that I could do something about this, and I had a lot of help along the way. I went into therapy. I was also on medication, which I still am. I'm on a lower dose of medication now. But once I followed the actual therapy that I needed to do, and I was as consistent as possible, giving myself a lot of self-compassion, because this isn't easy. Every day feels challenging, especially at first when we're getting into this therapy and doing the work that we need to do. It can feel hard. It can feel such hard work, and it's tiring and consuming, but over time it does get easier to implement. And when we let go of our thoughts, that doesn't come naturally to us. This is going against everything that we think is actually helping us, which it really is not. By analysing the thoughts and trying to neutralise them or suppress them or push them away is everything we don't want to do with them, because that just makes them come back stronger. We're giving it so much power when we do that, when we analyse and we try and suppress them, when we try and neutralise them with rituals. That's just making them stronger. It's giving them so much more energy, because our brain is taking note of this. It's saying, this is important. We need to keep hold of it. And it's just not going to go. It's not going to disappear, because our brain is keeping it right there, because we're giving it so much importance. We're giving it so much time that it doesn't want to let it go. And it doesn't go. It just keeps coming back, whether it be the same obsession or it comes up somewhere else. It just bounces back all the time, and it's not a good place to be. So letting go of our intrusive thoughts is really where the change happens. And when I say letting go, it's not a case of saying, well, just don't think about that. That's just not going to work. For anyone suffering from OCD and anxiety, telling them just, well, don't worry about that is not going to cut the mustard. It's just not going to be productive, and it's just not helpful. We have to make peace with these thoughts. Just let them be there. We have to choose love and peace over suffering and pain that we're going through every day. And choosing to trust that we will be okay and be safe in the face of uncertainty and the feeling that we need to get some conclusion. We have to trust that, things will be okay. And that is not a natural thing for us. That's just not easy in any way. But it's something that we can develop over time. The more that we lean into that uncertainty and we let those thoughts be there. We learn to tolerate that discomfort we feel when we don't do everything that OCD tells us to do. Like, well, what if this happens? What if this? You really need to repeat that thing again just to feel okay and make everything safe. OCD will tell us to do numerous things every day. I still get them occasionally where I'll get thoughts to repeat that action because that will keep you safe. And I have to let that go unanswered. And that is really the key. And breaking through the barrier of OCD is just saying, no, I'm not going to answer that. You can just stay there. I'm not going to do it. And you're going to feel a wave of anxiety and uncertainty with that. And it's just a case of sitting with it and letting that be there. It's not going to feel good. It's going to feel rough at first. But once we can practice doing that and realizing that by doing so, it's not actually harming us. It's not actually dangerous to do that. We are safe and we trust that by not doing that, it's fine. We're not putting ourselves or a family in danger, that having those unanswered intrusive thoughts there is fine. We're not pushing them away. We're just going to let them hang out. It took me a while to really get to grips with doing that and actually implementing the work I needed to do. But it really did get easier. Every little step I made, every little decision I made where I didn't do what OCD wanted me to do is a breakthrough. Every little thing. You're going to have some setbacks where you do the thing, where you count to 10 because OCD tells you to do, or you recheck something. That's going to happen. It's not a straightforward process, but the more we actually push ourselves through these things and feel that uncertainty and feel that anxiety that we normally will try and escape, because that's what we do when we involve ourselves with our intrusive thoughts and we carry out the rituals. We're doing it because we just want to feel some safety and peace, but all that is doing is making it stronger and giving it more power over us. So to let those thoughts go, to me, it was a choice I had to make, because I wasn't going to heal if I just do everything that OCD tells me to do. I had to let those questions go unanswered, the what ifs. I had to let them sit there with me and carry on with my day, move forward with what I needed to do that day. And just think of every time you do that as a breakthrough. It's another step in the right direction to reclaiming your life, reclaiming your power over OCD. OCD doesn't need to control you. And we often think that this is a life sentence and it's just the way we live and it can't be any other way. But I'm here to tell you that there is another way and you can get better from this. Although it doesn't always feel that way, I understand it. OCD is so debilitating. As someone going through this for a long time and having family members see how devastating it can be, it is horrible to live your life that way. But we have to choose that peace over the fear and lean into that discomfort and lean into the uncertainty that we feel, and we don't do what OCD wants us to do. We don't answer those questions or do that ritual and taking risks. It's all about taking those small risks and not doing what OCD wants us to do. And those thoughts, letting them be there, letting them just be there, letting them go, they will dissolve on their own. We realize that when we don't give those thoughts power, we don't give those rituals power over us, they will fade away, and you will notice that they will reduce in frequency, they will reduce in volume, because when we're teaching our brain that this is just nonsense, we don't need to follow it, our brain will realize that we can let this go. It doesn't need to be there. And that is the beautiful thing about healing from this disorder. I know how hard it can feel. I know it can feel like this is my life now, but I'm here to tell you, no, you can get your life back. We change our beliefs when we carry out this kind of therapy, because we realize now that, that's not helpful. This is not helpful. We don't need to follow that thought, because ultimately it's not going to be good. It's not actually going to help me. And so those beliefs change, and that is the beautiful thing about it. So let me know how this has helped you today. Let me know if this is something that you are trying out now and how are you finding it, because it took a while for me, like I said, to actually put this into practice. But once I did, I realized I can get my life back from this. So thanks for watching today, and I will see you in the next video.